What is up, Washington football family? Welcome to another edition of the Washington Wrap. This is a show where we have 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, to wrap up the issues that we're talking about. We only talk about one issue per episode. It is a single issue, 10-minute focused rundown where we wrap it up. I'm Chad Ryan, I'm your host. Joining me today are my co-hosts Robbie Duncan and Felix Trammell. You know them, you love them. On today's episode, we're looking forward to this season a little bit, and we're only a month out from training camp, and there's a bit of optimism around the Washington football team this season. And if things are going to go well, if there is going to be some on-field success, it's really going to come down to a few key players having strong seasons. But who are those key players? That's the focus and the topic for this week's episode of the Washington Wrap. We're going to look at the most important players on this roster other than the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks not included in today's conversation. So we have 10 minutes to wrap that up. We're going to start that right now. Robbie Duncan, I am starting with you, my friend, and it's a pretty simple question to jump into it. If the Washington football team is going to have any success this year, who's going to be the most important player to drive that success in your mind?
Well, I would say the tackle spots, both left and right tackle, but I'm going to say something different because just branch out from my position group. I think the cornerback position is going to be very important. They want to get the pass rush going even more from what they did last year. They drafted a guy like Benjamin St-Juste and have hope that they can do a lot more press man. That way, they can really kind of get up in these wide receivers' faces and force them to get off the line, which allows the pass rush to get home quicker, because it makes the offense have to drop back more, take more deeper shots instead of the quick gain to counter that
coverage
pass rush that they got. So if they can really bump up their coverage with this press man that they want to do, then we should see some more production in the pass rush department, and that's going to be huge. It'll just take that defense up to a whole nother level.
I like it. Benjamin St-Juste getting some very good early wraps, and it's very early, but from the mini camps and stuff, it's better to sound good in mini camp than sound bad in mini camp. Am I right? And Felix,
right.
we've been to enough trainings, we know what that goes like. But just because you're good in June doesn't mean you'll be good in September. But it's better than the alternative. No, I like that answer, Robbie. I like it a lot. I'm going to jump in with my own for something different before we go to you, Felix, and I'm going a little left field as well. There's a few players that popped up to mind, but for me, given how competitive the NFL is, and especially in a season where some COVID disruptions may occur, essentially what I'm saying is I'm expecting it to be really tight. It's going to be a tight race, and if it's going to be a tight race, you need to be able to rely on your kicker. So I'm going Dustin Hopkins. He's a career 84% field goal kicker and a career 96% extra point kicker. So he, over the aggregate over his career, he's pretty reliable. But by his standards, he probably had a slightly down 2020 season. If the Washington football team is going to be really competitive this year, we're going to need to be able to rely on him in the clutch, win some close games, not miss extra points, not miss field goals, and make the most of every opportunity when Ryan Fitzpatrick, Taylor Heineke, whoever the quarterback is, drives the field. If we can't score a touchdown in the end zone, we need to come away with points on every drive. So I'm going with Dustin Hopkins, and I'm backing him in as well. New long snapper. Tressway's still going to be the holder on field goals and everything like that. He's been here since 2015. I think he can have a good year. So Dustin Hopkins is my first pick. A couple of guys I could have gone with, though, and I think Felix and I are probably of the same mind. So who I think was my second pick, I have a sneaky suspicion might be Felix's first pick. So let's see if I'm right. Felix, who's your pick for the most important non-quarterback player for this year?
To me, and Robbie, me and Robbie were going on the same lines, but I'm thinking Bobby McCain in that free safety spot because the defense last year, while good against those good quarterbacks, against those playoff teams, we were 1-4, and a lot of that was because the defense had to sink off because we didn't want to get beat over the top, and they were able to kill us with the short game. And quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield were able to move around and create plays. Kyler Murray did the same thing, even though the Cardinals didn't make the playoffs. So if Bobby McCain or whoever's going to assume the free safety spot can be a true free safety, then what Robbie said those corners to now press up, which they want to do with Jackson and Fuller and St. Just and even Moreland. Moreland's a good man up underneath corner that can be physical even for his size. That allows the rush to go home. And so everything now connects because you can only rush maybe 4. Sometimes it was 3 because you had Chase or Sweat would have to drop off just to do some coverages thing because they knew they were throwing the ball underneath. Let those guys keep their hands in the dirt and keep going after the quarterback. So I think that's this evolution from going from a really solid defense to a game control, takeover, whole games defense. And I think the free safety spot is going to be most critical for that.
No, I really like that answer. Not who I was expecting though. You know who I was expecting you to pick? I was expecting you to pick Jamin Davis, which I know is like a lot of pressure for a rookie, and it's probably an unfair expectation. But I think we all look at that defense and recognize that the weak spot last year was in the middle of the ground. And, Cole Holcomb was good, really good open field tackler. But there's a reason we went linebacker with our first round pick this year and such a valuable pick. And Jamin Davis, if he can come in and be what we need him to be, the entire defense, you picture it like that 3D cone from The Simpsons. The entire defense around him gets better, right? Because, the front... that front line, which we know is a monster, Phil, is like 1,000 first-round picks already, has a little bit, of a relief valve because they're not as worried about tight ends getting behind them, or they're not as worried about the running backs chipping them and then getting free or anything like that because there's good, solid coverage there. If we're dialing up blitzes, they know that if they can't beat their man, someone's going to come streaming past them. So, yeah, like it's probably the reason I didn't pick him first and I just picked Dustin Hopkins is it's a little unfair to put this amount of expectations on a rookie. But if he is as good as advertised, I am excited about what he can do to transform this defense and take us to that next level. Robbie, am I being unfair on such a young kid? No matter that,
No.
Ignoring the fact that he's built like a brick shithouse, like he is massive. I think he can take it, but the weight is there.
He seems to have the makeup to handle the pressure, and he's going to have a lot of support around him. He's got Jonathan Allen, he's got Chase Young, he's got a lot of good locker room guys to help bring him along too if he needs help and support. But I'm not worried about that part because he, like I said, he seems built for this. He's got that military background that Ron Rivera really likes, and he's just going to be able to handle anything that's thrown at him, I think. And he seems to be very bright and willing to learn and wants to be great. So I think he's going to be a really good addition for us.
And plus a defensive coordinator who played his position and a head coach who played his position. So,
yep.
that's got to help a little bit. Felix, if you had to pick a second player, who would you pick?
I'm going to the guard position, left guard on the offensive line. That was our weak point last year. We started with Wes Martin, and he got progressively worse. And then it got better with Schwartz. And Schwartz did an excellent job. But then he had to swing over when lose my train of thought. When Sheriff was out. So that guard position, because we were teams that beat us with pressure up the middle. And it wasn't necessarily Roulier. Roulier was holding his own. Roulier is a vastly underrated center. But if those guards,
Robbie's been banging that drum for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think me and him were the first two Roulier fans, and on Twitter, and he is exceptional. If you watch his film, so if those guard positions get solidified, and we know Sheriff's there as long as the contract works out, but if left guard is solid, I think this line has so much potential, and that'll allow the running backs to run, let the quarterbacks get the ball to the receivers. I think that was our weakest link on offense because we couldn't do a lot of things because if a team had a good defensive tackle that could put pressure up the A-gap, we were doomed. So I think the left guard position, whoever it works out to be, if it's Flowers, if it's Schweitzer, I don't care. I like both of them. So I wouldn't be mad with either one. But if that position gets locked in, I think we'll be good. But left guard is going to be something we have to watch at training camp and see who comes out on top.
Robbie, we are just a little bit more than 60 seconds left. Your second most important player, or your second choice?
Well, I'll go to the tackle position since I wanted to say that the first time. We have Charles Leno brought in, and then we have Cornelius Lucas, who I'm high on, and then Samuel Cosme. They let go of Morgan Moses. There's some questions there. I am hopeful for what they have. And then you got Sadiq Charles that's still technically in the mix. They still have him lining up at left tackle some during minicamp there. So how that shakes out, who's the starters, are they going to be good enough? That's the question I have. I have hope and faith that they will be good, but it's a lot of questions, and you need to see it and see what they actually have and with them.
Yeah, I like it. Well, 20 seconds left. I'll tell you the one name I was surprised didn't come up at all tonight: Antonio Gibson. Because we're going to need him to have a big year as well if we're going to succeed. But I think no matter how we shake this out, everyone needs to do their job. It's going to be super competitive, not only in the NFC East, but in the NFC itself and in the wider NFL. And if the Washington football team are going to have any success, we need a bunch of guys to step up. But look, 10 minutes is up and we have wrapped it up. And I hope everyone out there has enjoyed our take on this. We're three guys who cover the team, but we're keen to hear your take. Who do you think is going to be the most important player for the Washington football team this year if we're to have any sort of success on the field, whether that's the division or beyond? Let us know either in the YouTube comments, tweet us. You can see our Twitter handles underneath us. Mine is ChadWeekoTWW. Felix is HTTR and Blessed, and Robbie is Robbie Duncan OL. Leave Facebook comments, leave Instagram comments, wherever you're watching the Washington Wrap. Leave a comment with who you think the most important player this year is. I know we're all expecting big things from guys like Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, all across the offensive line, the defensive line, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and the guys in the middle, and of course the secondary as well. So there's a lot of options to choose from, and really no wrong answers. I'll even accept Cameron Cheeseman answers, because we can't have long snappers botching the snaps. That's a recipe for disaster. So
that's the 99 playoffs.
That's still raw for some people. But look, thank you so much for watching and listening, Washington fans. Robbie, Felix, always a pleasure talking 10 minutes worth of football with you guys in these quick hit packages. Just a quick note, we were going to record an episode earlier this week. In fact, we did record an episode earlier this week, except the audio didn't record. So that's why we've been gone for a little bit longer than anticipated. But we'll be back next week and every week up until training camp, and then through training camp, and then the season, and here we are. So please help us spread the word. Retweet this, share it, like it, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. And keep engaging, sending us your comments. Thanks for watching, listening, and tuning in. And we'll see everyone next time.